And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, everybody, on a Wednesday night. Get you all set for the high school baseball season coming up. We've got another one of the top Division I teams in the CIF Southern section, and these guys are your defending Big 8 League champions. It is the King Wolves. Join us here live on the show. We got Coach Madrill and a couple of his top players join us here live. And Coach Steve Madrill, he is like the ambassador of baseball for the Riv, man. You are Riverside baseball. And Coach, this is a serious question. Before we dig in real deep on the diamond here, have you ever thought about like running for mayor or political office? Because you represent Riverside like more than anybody.
You know what? I haven't, but you're not the first one to ask me that question. It's funny, man. Just growing up in Riverside, I played Little League here. I played Pony League here. I played in high school, I played in college, and now going to my 16th year as a head coach here in our city, man. So I just love Riverside. I love high school baseball in our city, and I do whatever I can to promote it, whether it's King, North, Poly, Arlington, Ramona, whatever it is. I just try to do what I can to help our programs.
And speaking of, as we segue into the first question, talking about you representing Riverside, I know you got the Boris Classic, you got Big 8 League play, you're going to play so many great teams, but you're also involved in the Riverside Classic. You're playing other Riverside schools, those traditional rivals. Why is that important for you to play those other traditional rivals, like Riverside Poly, Arlington, Ramona, North, those schools?
You know what? I think just from my days growing up and having the old Ivy League, I remember going to junior high with kids that went to Poly. We played Pony League against kids that went to North, and that rivalry that we had with those schools was special. Obviously our league now, our school district now is split up 3 different ways. So I think it's important that we play, like we all get together and try and bring back those rivalries that we've had for so many years in our district. If we can't do it in a league format, I think it's super important for us to do it in the non-league. So last year we brought back a version of the Riverside Classic, and right away going into this year, all 5 schools agreed that we were going to play again. So I'm excited to get over to Poly. I'm excited to get back to Arlington. We're going to host Ramona and North this year, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. We're super fired up about those games coming up. Coach, joining us on the show as well, 3 of your top players, Jake Mitchell, Austin Carrillo, Mason Swan. Coach, you want to introduce these guys and maybe just quickly, just briefly, tell them about if they've committed somewhere, the position they play, what makes them a special player.
Yeah, so right next to me we have Austin Castillo. He's an infielder and a pitcher. He's committed to Long Beach State. He's returning a first-team All-Big 8 guy. Next to him is Jake Mitchell, who's a shortstop and also a pitcher. He's a senior. Next to him we got Mason Swan, who's a left-handed pitcher and an outfielder. He's committed to UC Santa Barbara.
Guys, when you play at King High School, obviously you got one of the best head coaches around in Steve Madrill, and you're going to get a lot of Division I looks in terms of college. But, going out there, I think winning takes care of a lot of different things. How bad do you guys want to win this season? And we all know the Big 8 League is always so competitive. We'll start with Jake. What do you think it's going to take to string together a bunch of wins in league play and maybe come out with a Big 8 League championship again?
Personally, I think it's just going to take everyone stepping up as a team, like not having our guys and everyone just coming together and getting the job done.
And Austin, let me ask you, because, we saw the preseason polls come out by the CIF Southern section. I don't know if you guys look at them, but I look at them, and you guys were, one of the other schools, like right there on the edge of the top 10 for the CIF Southern section Division I preseason poll. I know it's preseason, so maybe we shouldn't put too much value in it at this point, but do you guys look at the polls and you see the other teams ahead of you, and you feel like, where do you guys kind of stack up with some of those other top programs?
I feel like I saw them, and I just feel like we don't have like big name guys as these other big name schools, and I just feel like that we can compete with them, and we're kind of like a little underdogs.
And Mason, I'll go to you next for this next question in terms of competing in the Big 8 League, playing in the Division I CIF Southern section playoffs. It feels like every time you guys go out, every time you're going to roll the ball out and play a game, you're going to be going up against another really good team, whether it's at the Boris, whether it's, Arlington, whether it's Corona High School. I mean, you're going to see a lot of good teams along the way. What do you think is key for the Wolves? Yeah, you guys have to do day in and day out to, be a championship caliber team. What do you guys have to do well this season?
We just got to show them how hard we work at practice and just show them the grit we have. We're a public school. We put in the work, and we just have to show them how good we are. We have good kids on our team. We have to just give everything we got because our season matters, and for years to come, we're just going to be good.
And let me go back to Coach Madrill on this one, Coach, because I'm looking at your schedule, and there's literally no holes in the schedule. You got the Riverside Classic, you've got the Boris Classic, you've got Big 8 league play. Let's assume you guys make the Division I playoffs. I mean, every single time you guys take the field, you're playing somebody good. That's probably exciting, though, right?
Yeah, it is. It's nice for our boys to be battle tested and compete against the best teams in the state, or the best teams in our section. It's important for us to play some really, really good teams in the non-league because the Big 8 is so good that we have to make sure we're always going to see somebody just as good or better than anybody in the Big 8. And then not only that, we hope to make a deep push into our league stuff and make the playoffs. But all just being battle tested, I think is going to help us get in when we get into the playoffs.
So, Coach, we know, fall ball schedules, and I'm sure you guys have been practicing probably all the way through Christmas and leading up into the season. But, what do you think about this year's team? What is it going to make it special or unique? What have you guys done well? What have you liked through fall ball and maybe building up to this first game? You guys got Riverside Poly next week, but what gets you excited about specifically this year's squad?
We've had a really, really good fall. Starting off, back in November, we made it to the semifinal of the Austin Gorell Memorial Classic, which is a huge tournament for our program. We challenged ourselves with some great competition on the weekends, and then we went out in Palm Desert in December, which is one of the top high school tournaments, in the country in the winter, and we actually won it. So it was good for our team to go out there. We've pitched really, really well from the very beginning. We figured out some holes that we thought we were going to have defensively. And we've actually swung it a lot better than what I thought we were going to do going in. So we've actually been able to kind of piece together all three facets, in the fall. So I'm excited for us to get started. Usually we're maybe a little behind at this point in one area, but we're excited to hit the ground running, and we're just ready to go out and compete now.
So, Coach, it sounds like it's safe to say that pitching usually comes along a little quicker than at the plate.
Oh, absolutely. Usually the pitchers will kind of dominate early, and then our bats will come along. We actually also get a late start to our fall. A lot of schools out there get started like in September. We don't get started until November, specifically because of our arms. We want those guys to kind of rest up, come from summer ball. We do a full-on throwing program. We lift and stuff like that. So I think our arms are just barely starting to hit their stride. At least that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that by the time we get to April or so, that our arms are 100% and those guys are ready to go.
Well, Coach Madrill, guys, thank you so much for spending a couple minutes with us here on the Inland Sports Show. I really appreciate it, and best of luck this season. And Coach, let's do this again. If you need a press secretary when you run for political office, I'm your guy.
Thanks, Pep. You got it. Now you're hired.
That is the King Wolves baseball team here live on the Inland Sports Show. Thank you so much, guys. Best of luck this season.